Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm your ever-loving host, Shorty, and today we're going to review Plot Holes. It's a new one from Sean Murphy, who I'm a big fan of, and it's published by Massive, who I'm a big fan of. There's a lot of reasons why I like the ideas going into it. There's also an issue I had, but we're going to get to stuff I liked about the concept first, which is just the fact that Sean Murphy is fantastic. He's a really good writer, really, really good artist. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't take away from his writing, but the art is mainly what hooked me onto him, because I was picking up books that he was doing the art on where I didn't really care about the stories or the writer, but it just looks so cool. He's got a really nice knack for doing sci-fi technology, cyberpunk kind of stuff. Also fantastic cityscapes and really good character design. There's a lot of stuff straight away that I was like, yeah, gonna check this out. But the thing that put me off a little bit, that made me a bit skeptical, is this literary device of there is a bunch of characters from fiction who come together to solve problems. I've read a few books like this, some recently which have been okay, some which haven't been okay. I think since Moore took his shot at it, everyone else comes along is going to be compared to it. It turns out that isn't exactly what's going on here. These are characters from fiction that has never existed, who exist in what in my mind was a liminal space where unpublished works exist, to edit them and tidy up stories and make things better so that they can be published and get to your audience they want. And I like this. It's a good idea. I mean, it's a comic book. Talking about an editor being an all-powerful thing in there, I'm sure there's some history there. But it does make sense. These things do exist. And it kind of leads into ideas about what makes good stories and what makes bad stories, why we read some things and not others. You can write a story with a fantastic world, like 100% realised, but populate it with very average 1 or 2 dimensional characters. You can have amazing characters, but the story that they're involved in makes so little sense and their motivations don't match. You can have fantastic dialogue between these characters, but it has nothing to do with the story you set up. There are so many things you can do that are right and something you can do wrong, and they all have to come together. And that's what this book seems to be celebrating, the idea that there is always room for improvement, and I like that. But it then pulled back, and I was like, oof, this is going to be a tough sell. Because these characters from fiction, which are all 100% original creations, they exist in this world as part of stories which were so bad they were never published. And that is ballsy. That is a writer saying, hi, I've got a bunch of characters from really, really bad fiction here. Fiction so bad it never saw the light of day, and they're all going to come together to do amazing things, and I'm going to expect you to trust me that they're cool characters and it's all going to make sense and it's all going to come together. And that is a big swing. I mean, thankfully it works. It kind of helps that we don't get bombarded with everything right at the beginning. We mostly concentrate on one character. I'm sure you can see him on the front here. Yeah, that dude there. Who I think in the book is referred to as something like Johnny Manga, and it is ridiculous because his world is terrible. It's a Gundam-esque manga world, but every Gundam massive mech robot thing is piloted by a samurai, because of course you've got to rub some Orientalism in there. But on top of all that, the mechs are themselves powered by cars drifting, which I think the samurais have to be driving the cars that are drifting to control and steer the gun. It is such a ridiculous, convoluted plot concept that I absolutely don't think it would ever see the light of day at all. But the character within it, which I'm certain has an actual name, I've just forgotten it off the top of my head, is a decent character. He has motivation within that story. He had reasons for doing what he wanted to do. He had connections with other people, and also he looked really, really cool. This is one of those Sean Murphy kind of things where I'm like 100% behind. I found a slightly better picture of him. Because for me, when I first saw that, it was Street Samurai Cyberpunk Link. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I probably would read a story about that guy. Then you find out how bad the story is, and you're like, oh, wow, yeah, I won't want to read that. But Murphy makes him look cool and writes him really well, and it shows that, again, these stories can be bad but have good elements, and things are worth saving. You can get in and edit them. And there is other stages of threat in this comic book. There are creatures that also can move between books. But here we come to my only real major criticism of it, because in my head when I'm reading this, I'm getting a sense of another dimension of fiction, a liminal space away from everything else where fiction exists, whether or not it gets published or not. And when stuff gets published, it becomes real, but the world still exists. Readers exist, the characters exist. It's all this weird amalgamation of space and thought and idea. It turns out it isn't. It's a cyber thing because there's an online system where people put their books to be published, and then these people go and fix them. And it feels like it's just a cyberpunk explanation for what an editor would just normally do. It kind of takes away this really cool otherworldly idea for me. And don't get me wrong, I can dig a bit of a sci-fi explanation, but I think in my head, I had an idea which made more sense to me, which fit more in with what their ideas are doing, to make it a little bit more actual, real world, just a thing that happens. I don't know. It pulled me out just a little bit when I was reading that, but honestly, I still think it's worth a shot. I think this is a fantastic creator doing something cool and interesting, and it looks fantastic, so you should give it a try. If this little issue at the end doesn't bother you as much as it did me, it's going to suit you down to the ground. I think you're going to really enjoy it. That's it for me today. I'm not sure I've got any more to review this week, but if I do, make sure you hit the like and subscribe thing, and I'll see you then. Until then, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye!